My name is Erin Helmholtz. I am representing Fine Arts Career Services, and I'm just going to run through a quick presentation. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here and get started. So Fine Arts Career Services is commonly known within the college as FACS. So I use that acronym all the time. That's what that means. And we're going to run through who we are, what we do, and ways that we're here to help you while you are students at the University of Texas. And whether or not you come and join us, we certainly hope you do. I hope that this is relevant things for you to think about no matter what your next step is. So on the call today and within our office, it is a priority for FACS that we hire folks with an arts background. That's something that's super unique for a university the size of UT. We only meet with students within the College of Fine Arts. That means you don't have to trek across campus to meet with someone who has a finance background and has no idea what to do with an artist. My background is in theater and arts administration. I did public relations for a large theater in Seattle and started my career out in actually startups and nonprofits. Calder is our career services manager. She is a practicing visual artist. So in the past, she has been the City of Austin Small Business Program and Artist Liaison. She's done a bunch of different residencies and has done some very cool projects. She's worth Googling. Pepsi and Disney have worked with her this last year. So we're super excited about that. And ultimately, we're here to help and work on things that are relevant to you. So within our office, we work on one-on-one career advising for fine arts students. We also run a job and internship board called Fine Arts Works, where you can hear about opportunities in Austin and beyond. We host workshops and presentations on a wide variety of career education or professional development topics. I'll go through a couple of those today, as well as funding opportunities for students. Yes, we have money. We want to give it to you. So we'll tell you a little bit about that. This semester, we have moved all virtual. I don't have to tell you it's been a crazy time, but for our office, we're really lucky. It hasn't changed that much. We advise students one-on-one via Zoom, we hold programming via Zoom, and we're constantly trying out new things like lunch chats, recording workshops so that students can watch them later on, adding more resources to the website, and we're definitely going to continue trying things out while we are in this virtual period. But one thing that's good to know, we have not seen a reduction in the number of students taking the internship course, which means there are still internships happening. You don't have to worry too much about that experience going out the door for you in the next couple of years. Something else that's unique about our office and our college is we practice integrated advising, which basically means academic advisors and career advisors work together to make sure you have a good experience at UT. And before you graduate, you will have met with us at least twice, whether that's a workshop or an appointment. And that's really going to help you set up for whatever it is that you hope to do after school. When we talk about one-on-one career advising, usually that means we're just meeting students wherever you're at and can help you out with whatever it is you are needing help with, whether that is resumes, cover letters, finding internships to apply for, finding resources within Austin or within the city you hope to move to after graduation. And I promise we are a very safe space to have the "what do I do with this major" talk. My mom told me I should do it. I have no idea what this means. And we'll be really honest with you about what the skills are that you're learning, how those are relevant to employers. And we love having those kind of exploratory conversations. We're going to talk through just a brief overview of the type of programming we do. That includes workshops, a guest speaker series called Creative Exchange, and we also do some in-class workshops with professionals within different colleges at the University of Texas. So Tips and Tips is our workshop series. I know this is an overwhelming list, but I wanted to put it all on here to show you that no matter where it is you're heading, we have something that will help you get there. If you're new to Austin or haven't been here before, Tips is a really famous local cookie company. So when we're in person, we promise we freshly deliver cookies. We can't do that right now. But the idea is we know that you are going to be busy once you get to college. Lots of things compete for your attention. So we want to make these topics that can be really overwhelming, bite-sized, easy to consume. So we're talking like 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to give you the overview. How do you build your online presence in social media or a website online? What does it mean for tax purposes or copyright and licensing if you're a freelance artist? We definitely are a good place to have those exploratory conversations and also give you resources if you want to do a deep dive before you graduate. Next up is Creative Exchange. This is our guest speaker series that we love. We bring in professionals that are of varied backgrounds. We focus on nonprofit and for-profit experience. Each semester, we're going to bring in working artists, working creatives that are relevant for music students, design students, educators. Anyone within the College of Fine Arts will find something helpful at these guest lectures. And we've heard from so many students, it's one of the easiest ways to consider what do you want to do after school by asking, what did you do the first year you were out of school? What do you wish you had known before starting in this industry? Here's the best part. This is networking level 0. We do all of the work. We bring them to campus, we bring them to Zoom so that you can start building your creative community while you're in college. So just an overview, this semester, we are excited about these 4 professionals. Michael Henderson is coming up first. He is a community builder, a design thinker that has years of experience building networks that lead to policy, to change, to amazing things within the design world. Dawn Okora is a UT alum. She's actually also a lawyer, and she's a practicing artist that's been featured in some huge national publications. Stephanie is a great example of an artist that has a day job, and I promise day job is not a dirty word. She works with the city of Austin at the Music and Entertainment Division. She's also the front woman of Bidi Bidi Banda, an incredible award-winning Selena cover band. And last but certainly not least, Allie was trained as a photographer, but she is a polymath like so many successful creative artists these days. She wears multiple hats. She's now doing incredible things with augmented reality, art directing, and continuing to pursue her individual art through residencies. So really exciting ways for people to be artists and creative these days. Almost each one of these speakers has multiple income streams, has a huge network of other people doing really exciting things, and that is absolutely possible for you. So we get to the money. The first experience we have at Fine Arts Career Services is the intern scholarship. It is needs-based, and it's really important to us that we acknowledge that so many students work part-time or full-time while they're at school to make ends meet. And we don't want you to lose out on an internship experience because you can't lose that income. So students can apply for up to $2,000 for in-state or $3,000 out of state for internship experiences while they're in COFA, and this happens each semester. So you have a lot of opportunities to apply. Another unique thing about COFA is the Professional Development Travel Initiative. So picture this, you and 5 to 7 of your friends all interested in, let's say, museum education or becoming art curators, get to plan a trip to New York City to visit museums, see artist studios in person, start building that network of professionals, and Fax will foot the bill. You get the chance to be really creative here and make incredible memories with some friends. Obviously, right now this is on hold, but we do know it will eventually come back once travel opens up. And last but not least, it's not within our office, but we do want to let you guys know we offer scholarships for UT New York. So if you're interested in that, the University of Texas has semester-long internships where you live and work at either UT or LA and New York. We have so many acronyms, and we provide scholarships for those programs. So definitely look that up if you're interested in learning more about those. I did want to give you guys some examples of internships that students have done in the past. So Vinay was a choral music student. He wants to be someone working in local and city choirs. He did an operations internship with Dallas, where I believe he grew up. They loved him so much, they brought him back a second summer, and he had a bunch more responsibility and truly left UT with a very impressive resume, having enough work experience to show like he basically had a full-time job over the 2 years he interned there. Anna interned at Lilly Pulitzer. She was a studio art major and got hands-on experience working in administration, retail, brand merchandising with a pretty big name. And last but certainly not least, Dax was a stage management intern at the Public Theater in New York, which is a pretty big name if you're interested in, I don't know, Hamilton or anything like that. But we do want to let you guys know that there are students that intern throughout the year. We also have those that only do one internship throughout their college experience or only intern over the summer. And there are internships available on campus, locally, as well as nationally and certainly internationally. So lots of opportunities out there. And they're there for the taking. So we hope that you come visit us at FACS so we can talk about what that process might look like. While we wrap up here, I just wanted to leave you guys with some general tips for how do you set yourself up if you want to be successful in the world of creative arts. You really get to define success for yourself. We do find that those that engage with our office early on feel the most prepared to graduate. They have some documents ready to go. They understand how to search for jobs or where to find them. And that is totally an option for you. You can use us as much as you'd like while you're at UT. Second is certainly to seek out internships, but also experiences outside of the classroom. So things like leadership experience, working with clubs or organizations on campus or off, you are building those leadership skills. We hear time and time again from employers across industries that communication, creative problem solving, staying organized are the most highly valued skills. And guess what? College of Fine Arts students have each of those. So highly encourage you to connect with those communities. And certainly while we are back at UT in Austin in the future, Austin is a great place to live. There's a vibrant arts community, and we encourage you to check that out once it's safe, of course. And last but not least, please follow your curiosity. There's no such thing as a perfect career. You can always change your mind. So we are here to build some skills, get you familiar with what those options could look like for you. But no matter what your major is at COFA, FACS is here to support you, and we have resources for every major, for students at every college, and Calder and I would love to get to know you one-on-one. So as I wrap up here, this is just our website. I also highly encourage that any prospective students, check out our social media. We also share some resources there. You can see a little bit more about what programming we have going on this semester. But feel free to take a screenshot if you want this information. And I'll go ahead and hand it over to Calder Kamen for our art panel. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Erin. That was terrific. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to meet you. My name is Calder Kamen, and I'm the Career Services Manager. And exactly to what Erin said about our Visiting Speaker Series, we really emphasize that what the model of success for creatives is being polymaths, doing many things. You are a generator capable of making multiple income streams for yourself, and that is the model of success as a creative. And we discussed highlighting some creatives, and I'd mentioned we have fabulously brilliant artists on staff at COFA, and I wanted to introduce you to some of these wonderful women on our panel tonight. I wanted to talk to them about their college experience and what did they do to prepare for their creative life afterwards. So with the introductions here, please, everyone who's on the panel, say hello after I've made shared your bio. Caitlin B. Jones is an interdisciplinary movement artist and scholar whose work is centered around intersectionality and activism. She's also part of the Dean's Office team. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here.
We also have Michaela Newman, who is a singer, songwriter, PR professional with a passion for the music industry and is part of the SDCT Communications Industry Relations Assistant.
Hi, everyone. SDCT stands for School of Design and Creative Technologies, if you weren't aware. So lots of letters.
Thank you, Michaela. When you join a university, you start to learn all about the acronyms, right? And finally, I want to welcome Misa Yamamoto. She is the graphic designer for the College of Fine Arts and art director for the visual arts collective Essentials Creative.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
So thank you, ladies, for joining us. I'm going to just shoot off these questions. Y'all are welcome to fire off who wants to go first with them. So again, you're thinking about back to your college experience. What set you up for success? What did you do during your college experience to set you up for success as a creative afterwards?
I'll go. So try everything. That's what I did. I really sought diverse experiences and then collaborative experiences. As a general student and then also as a creative, it was really important for me to build the relationships in college because those are your colleagues. Those are your future colleagues in the art world. Those are the connections that you're starting to build as an undergrad. And so it's really important and fun to get to know people in your major and then outside of your major too. So I did a lot of collaborations with people in the theater department and the music department. Never got to really work in visual art much, but if I had to go back and do it, I totally would collaborate with some cool visual artists. There's so many different talented people, and all you have to do is just seek out relationships. It's as simple as like asking people to go get lunch with you, or I guess now like do a quick Zoom or a lunch Zoom. But that's what I really am proud of myself for, is for taking the chance to get to know people in other disciplines and then asking them to collaborate on projects or even just remain connected friends. And I still am connected with a lot of people now that I'm outside of college.
Yeah, my answer really ties in well with that. Similar vein, but student organizations, I cannot stress enough like how important I think it is that you join student organizations, and kind of similar to what Caitlin said, like you can try many different ones and kind of choose which ones you want to invest your time in. But like for me, I joined Longhorn Singers. I never knew a day of college without it, because our auditions are actually before the first day of class. So that was really where I found my network of singers and songwriters. Actually, there were several songwriters in the group, and we ended up playing house shows together and collaborating, and now they're all in the Austin music scene, and things do look a little different this semester just because of COVID, but I know there are a lot of student orgs that are still, you know, recruiting, and there's still a way to get plugged in there. I also joined U Talent Records. It's the student-run record label here at UT, and that was a great way to meet people who are kind of in the same headspace as I was, but I would have never met otherwise. So yeah, that's my biggest plug there.
I was also participate with student organization. I was the president of the Japanese Culture Club, and I learned how to manage events and meetings, and I used my design skills to you know, creating the flyers or programs to promote the event. And I really enjoy creating flyers for the event and post all over the campus. I also designed t-shirts to sell and raise money for the earthquake happening in Japan. And we were able to donate $10,000 for Red Cross. And that was kind of my learning experience for like power of design. And yeah, so that was good. But I also did internship at the 2 different design studio before graduating. At the internship, I learned how to work as a graphic designer in the real world. I made sure I wanted to pursue the, you know, graphic design.
Those are all wonderful points. I love that we discussed networking is so important as a creative because your social capital is everything. And I love that you all knew already there's opportunities to start building your network while you're a student and on campus. And just as Misa said, doing an internship, encourage everyone to, while you're a student in college, to find those opportunities to connect while you're a student with folks off campus as well. So I neglected too, if you all want to share where you did go to school, because we do have some UT alum, Kayla being very recent alum. But what did you wish you knew? Could you share a little bit about, you know, your college experience, why you maybe picked the school you went to, and something maybe you wish you had known as a student going into the arts?
maybe we should go in the same order. I'll go. I'll go again.
That works for me. Yes, thank you, Caitlin.
So I got my BFA in dance from UT. I graduated in May of 2019. So I am in that like first, or I guess now starting my second year out of college. So I feeling all the feels about first year out of undergrad. But I chose UT because, and I don't know if I have any dancers on the call, but if I do, dance auditions are really stressful. And I was auditioning all these different places before applying to college. And when I came and auditioned for UT, the atmosphere was not stressful. And that was mind-blowing to me, to feel like I was in an audition just taking a dance class and not feeling like I had to prove really my worth to the people that were in the room was really mind-boggling to me. And so I knew as soon as I walked into the room and as soon as the audition was over, if I get in, I'm going to UT. I loved the feeling, that atmosphere. I already felt like I was a part of the family. The admissions team does a really good job here. There were some students who were already in the program that were helping out with the audition. So I had a really cool opportunity to ask them a lot of questions about the program, and that was unique to UT. Anywhere else I auditioned, I didn't get that. I didn't get to meet any of students who were already in the program. So that was really cool. It was also, meeting the students also showed me that the program was really diverse in technique, in the techniques that they teach, and also in the students. So the program really focuses on diversity, and that was something that drew me to the dance program as well. Something I wish I would have known was that it is okay to not have your life figured out as a freshman, or even as a senior. It's okay to not know what you want to do with your major, or to not know what you want to do with your art. I still don't, like, I know what I want to do with my art, but I don't know what I want to do with my art, if that makes sense. And that's okay. And I think that I spent a lot of time in undergrad trying to figure out like what my thing was, instead of just creating the art and knowing that in the creation, my thing will come. And so that's my piece of advice, is don't stress about finding your like unique thing. Like, you're unique because you're you, not because like you make great art that everybody loves. But that the fact that you create art is what makes you unique.
So beautifully said, Caitlin. Exactly. Michaela?
Yeah, so I actually graduated from the public relations department in the Moody College of Communications. I got there in kind of a roundabout way. So I started as international relations in liberal arts, too much reading, and switched to PR. And I did that because I wanted to diversify my skill set. I really did consider majoring in music, and a part of me still wonders if I had gone back and done that, what would have been different. But I really did want to learn more about like the marketing side of music and the PR side of music and those kinds of things. So that was just the way that I approached it. The thing that I wish I knew when I was in school, I think it's twofold. One is imposter syndrome. I wish I'd known about that sooner, because I think to an extent we all suffer from it. And if not, like, good on ya. But just, recognizing that like you're not an imposter, you are doing this, kind of really claiming like, I am an artist, not, oh, I'm studying to become an artist, or I'm studying, or, one day when I graduate, I'll be an artist, I'll be a musician. Then it's like, no, like, you are doing it right now. Like, you have the skills and you're improving those skills every day, but like, you are an artist and you are doing this. And that's something to be really proud of and something to own. And I think it takes practice to really own that. And then the other side of that coin, I think, is success. Defining the way that you define success, I think for me was very much results based, and to an extent still is. And I wish I had decided sooner that success was going to be more about the journey and the growth versus the numbers that come out of it. For music, it's streams or sales or anything like that. And I think when we value our work and our worth in terms of the journey versus the end result, it's a lot more life-giving, and it's a more enjoyable journey.
I believe that there's so many rewards to the creative life that you just have to discover. You just have to live. There is no roadmap for the creative life, but certainly finding your peers and community, you can work together towards it and just gaining experiences. Thank you, Michaela. Misa?
I wish I met more students from different disciplines. I collaborated with students from the same major, but I didn't have much opportunity to work with students from other majors. So in the real world, I collaborate with sculptors or photographers or web developers or painters. So collaboration is key to my creative work. So no matter where you ended up, the skill of collaboration is very critical. So I don't know, it's essential to know how to communicate with people from different disciplines and people from different backgrounds. So I wish I worked with more different background people, students.
That's a great word of advice that dovetails into my next question, but was just going to make a point back to some things that Michaela and Caitlin were saying, that your college experience is a wonderful time to experiment. Try to expose yourself to as many skills, as many disciplines, as many people. You have the whole rest of your life, hopefully, to find out what it is, your niche, or what you do as a generating creative. And that will constantly change as you move forward. But to Misa's point about collaboration being so important to being a creative, I was going to ask, from some of your experiences, what are the key skills do you think that employers are looking for folks in the arts?
That's a good one. I think collaboration is probably number one. I think the ability to collaborate, not that, you know, some people really like working alone, and like, that's fine. Like, that's me sometimes, but there's something about being able to collaborate in a way that lets an employer know that, I guess, you're flexible. I think artists are really cool because we're already used to this environment of collaboration, and we're already used to a certain structure or a way that something's done. And so I think that when employers look for people in the arts, that's a good question. I feel like collaboration is my answer. Did I answer the question? I feel like,
Yes, yes.
I feel like we already bring
no wrong answers.
Yeah, I feel like we already bring such a cool, unique perspective to any environment that we go into. So even if you major in the arts and then you end up doing something completely different outside of the arts, having majored in the arts brings such a diverse and unique perspective to any field. And so I think that employers are always impressed because artists ourselves, like, we're already ready to experiment and figure out what works and what's new, and take on ideas from people and then make something great out of it.
We are great ideators for any team. Ideation, collaboration, totally.
Yeah, and I think something that ties in with that is this idea of being multidisciplinary. Like, things are no longer happening in silos. Things are very much overlapping, and that's really, I think, attractive to employers now. Like, they want someone who can wear multiple hats and who is more of a generalist versus a specialist. And so I think one of the really beautiful things about being creative is that we're kind of known for thinking outside the box and coming up with different ways to do things, and not being afraid of ambiguity. That's a huge hallmark of the design program, which is the school that I work in, about being comfortable with ambiguity and being willing to explore multiple options and frontiers that you haven't maybe explored before. So I think that's what I would say is maybe different than it was 20, 30 years ago, where you did one thing and that was what you did for your whole career. Now it's okay to wind, and it's okay to explore, and maybe hop careers even.
Absolutely. Misa, did you have anything else to add?
I think, yeah, collaboration is probably one thing they're probably employer looking for, but also like open to other people's idea or like listening skill to other people. That's very important too. I don't know. What do you all think? I think it's important to have listening skill and then create something new.
There's no wrong answers here. Listening is important, especially you, Misa, being a graphic designer, having a client and clearly listening and communicating to their needs, so that everybody's time is well spent. I'm really excited about this panel because I'm getting to learn about these ladies' creative practice. I was wondering if you could share with us maybe something that you're doing in your creative pursuits, or maybe some of your income streams.
Yeah, so right now I am working on a project. It's a collaboration between Arcos Dance and Austin Classical Guitar. And in 2017, Austin Classical Guitar did a series called We, where they interviewed refugees who had decided to live in Austin, and they composed music based off of the interviews of the refugees. And so now in 2020, they're collaborating with Arcos Dance to add movement to the music composition. And so I've been rehearsing via Zoom. And on, I think, next weekend, we're going to film. And so it's going to be available to live stream. If you just Google Austin Classical Guitar and then we, you can find all the information if you want to stream the performance. So I'm really excited about that. In addition, I'm also working with Early Era Collective. They are doing a piece about being Black and being a person of color and LGBTQ. And so they're working on it. We just started our Zoom rehearsals for that, so I don't have that much information about when that's premiering, but I'm working on that, and that's really cool. So those are a couple of the things that I'm doing in spite of COVID.
She never stops.
I'll go. So I've been working on an album throughout COVID. I've had a lot of time. So I started releasing singles back in August. So I just released my second single on Friday, and then there's going to be one more single, and then the whole project is due in November. So that's the big thing that I've been working on.
It's so exciting. Congratulations, Michaela.
Thank you.
I am working on the quarantine zine. It's about a risograph print zine combined to the all experience from the quarantine to put together. That's invite a couple of different artists to put. It's going to be sold in the mall in Austin, so please check it out.
Well, I love to hear that y'all have continued to be creative during this time. I'm wrapping up just a little bit early. I didn't know, Natasha, I think I saw maybe a question or two flash across the screen for our panelists. Yeah. Were there any questions from our guests that they had for our panel? I'd like to open that up.
Yeah, looks like we have at least one. How do you approach collaboration with other art disciplines while you're in college? So how did you get that going?
I was just walking around. I was walking around the art building, or sorry, the music building, and it actually it's funny because I was walking around the music building and I had a class in there. I was taking an arts admin class actually, and there was this girl sitting next to me, and we kind of just struck up a conversation. It started off with like, "Hi, how's your day going?" and yada yada, and then she had her instrument. I was like, "Oh, what do you play?" And she's like, "Saxophone." I was like, "You're a music major. That's so cool." So it was very natural. If you're not comfortable with like striking up a conversation with strangers, I would recommend joining some organizations. I think that I can't think of any off the top of my head. Dance Action actually that I was a part of as an undergrad. There were a couple of collaborations that happened with Dance Action. So Dance Action is a student org, and what they do is they student produce a show every semester, and it's literally anything that you want to dance about or move about or perform, you can do through Dance Action, and they will support it. And so a lot of my collaborations were through Dance Action, meeting different people who had also collaborated with other musicians. I think one, not my piece, but another piece, there was a musician who played the violin while a dancer was dancing on stage, and like that was really cool. Hanging out in like general areas is really cool. I think through like Zoom, like in this Zoom world, I would probably like come to things like this, you know, different Zoom events that people are having. This is like the world that we live in now. And so I feel like this is networking, like coming to these things, and then like participating in the chats, getting your name out there, and then seeing someone that has like a cool thing going on and asking more questions about what they do and how they do it. And if there's something that you want to collaborate on or talk about with them, just go for it. Like, just don't be afraid to ask people about their art, and then ask them if they would like to collaborate with you. I think that's the number one thing, is just to not be afraid to reach out to different people. Instagram's a really good tool. Social media is such a good tool to get to know people's art form and to connect people, especially during this time. So yeah, like, get people's contact information and stay connected through this virtual realm until we can get together again and make some in-person art.
I wanted to jump in for a second with a shameless plug. We just did our networking workshop for the semester, so you'll have to wait another semester for that one. I'm sorry. But Calder invites people to practice their elevator pitches on Zoom. And every time someone in there goes, oh my gosh, I had no idea, I do that too, or maybe I could help. And so it happens in really creative ways. And again, once we're in person, FACS workshops are multidisciplinary. So people often go, I didn't know that was a program at UT. What do you do? Can we talk after class? The great thing about college is that there's no shame in the like friend dating game. Just saying like, you seem cool. Can we go get coffee? That's normal. It's not awkward. Everybody does it. That's how you make connections.
Totally. And you're going to be surrounded by other creative people all around you. And no, yeah, definitely no shame in your game. Just put yourself out there, practice, practice, practice. Did anybody else have any thoughts about collaboration while you're on campus?
Yeah, I'm going to make a quick plug for Facebook groups. I know Facebook's kind of like the dinosaur of social media, but there are so many Facebook groups that if you have like a specific niche that you want to like find people who have that same, I think TikTok's the same way now, but Facebook is a great way. It's more like for dialogue. So like I'm in a Women in Music ATX Facebook group that's super active. I'm in a UT musician Facebook group that's super active. And like those are a way that I've met a lot of people. And I think you'll find quickly that like your community, whatever it may be, is actually a lot smaller than it seems. Like once you meet enough people, you like know everyone else just by knowing those 7 people or whatever. So yeah, that's my plug for that. And then I just want to echo, don't be afraid to ask for what you want, whether it's collaboration or like an internship, like just put yourself out there. The worst they can say is no.
I agree with that. When I see somebody, some artists you want to talk to, just message to Instagram. Like artists are usually give you like really good suggestions or advice. So I totally advise to message idol artists.
Yes, everyone here, do utilize social media while you are on campus. We're at UT FACS. We're pretty active on Instagram, but I totally agree. I've been so pleasantly surprised with the connectivity that I've been able to do online, actually making new friends on Instagram with other creatives. Like you said, I met some artists in other workshops. We found each other in the chat. We connected later. also have sold the most art I've ever sold in my life in the last month, all through Instagram. So do put yourself out there, keep putting your work out there, and do connect with us online. A lot of the student groups, clubs, each college has a social media presence, and we'll keep you in touch with all of the great things that we have going on campus. I want to thank our panel, if we can, virtually, round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your stories with us. You were wonderful to hear from, and I absolutely love getting to know more about you all. So thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Kaylee had a question. Oh, I think Erin answered it. Never mind.
Okay, Erin, did you answer that one in the chat? I didn't see.
In general, the question was about whether or not there are ways for students to begin making a profit from their art while in school or as recent graduates. And absolutely, we're a big fan of talking about how to make money, how much to charge, all that jazz. Definitely come talk to Facts. But I just mentioned Art Start Art is a startup that was started, startup that was started by a UT alum, where folks can apply to have their visual art sold, because they know that students so often have so much old work that's just going to sit there. So there are creative ways to do it. Definitely come meet with us.
Absolutely. And not just visual art, guys. You are all, all creative generators and have so many options as to ways that you can make an income. I love talking about that stuff. Also have a workshop devoted to managing your career as a freelancer. Basically just anyone who's a contract worker that doesn't necessarily have an employer, who is self-employed. We have a workshop devoted to giving you the basics to being a self-employed creative.
Yeah, and I see your note, Kaylee, that you're a prospective theater major. So with regards to that, some of our current theater students, they'll get involved in projects in the Austin community, and they'll do commercials and other kinds of like random freelancing stuff while they're still in school. So definitely opportunities. I remember one of our BFA actors told me once that like he saw a flyer to go shoot as an extra for a commercial, and he had to go to a field for like 5 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and he got paid like $500 just to stand in the background. So all the little flyers you see all over the hallways and go to different departments, right? You know, you never know, if you make the call, like you might win.
I also would say that I'd say most, if not all, of the professors in theater and dance are also working artists. So they're teaching and they're working. And so what's really cool is that if you just Google your professors, or like ask them and email them, ask them, hey, what projects are you working on? Like a lot of them are really open to letting students like be a part of their projects, or even just sit in on rehearsals. And like, that's a really good way to build connections as well, is to build those great relationships with professors.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say too is we know that it's super common for students to work part-time or, even full-time sometimes while they're at school. And we highly encourage, like, take any job that you want to take that works with your schedule for sure. But I also feel like students coming into college often don't realize how much those student jobs or part-time jobs can really contribute to help you out. So if you know that you want to be a performer, you're probably going to need some like standard business or PR skills. So maybe get an internship or a job where you can be helping out with social media, finding people in the community, or working with a local arts org that's interesting to you. There are so many opportunities for you to grow your skills and certainly get paid for them.
Yeah, and I have a success story about that. I was an intern with SDCT while I was in college doing PR, and now I work for them full time, and I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary. So you never know what those can turn into long term.
I just in a chat, we have about 5 more minutes for questions. So if y'all have anything else you want to chat, go ahead. The whole team is here.
Hey everybody, this is David, not a student, but a staff member. But I did have a question that I know was pre-submitted. I think it's one of the students were curious about, does the College of Fine Arts Career Services Centers work with students on portfolios, or how do y'all kind of work with students who might have to put together a highlight reel or a portfolio for any of their particular job opportunities?
Yes, The answer is yes. But also know that everyone is an asset with building your portfolio, and do encourage, again, with no shame in your game, talk to everyone about your goals, what you're doing, what you're seeking, how you want trying to be better, what opportunities you're looking for. But your professors and peers are also just as important to the portfolio building. But we're happy to speak to you about in the industry or just being a creative out there, how can you put your best face forward 24/7 on the internet?
Yeah, I will say too that students really heavily lean on their professors too. The working artists, they always are willing to provide feedback on portfolios. I know some really fun appointments that I've had or where students brought in a big binder and they said like, help, I don't know what this says about me. What should I add? What should I take out? Especially when you're in college, a lot of students feel pressured to make their portfolio or their website everything they've ever done, instead of thinking, what do I want my portfolio to say about me? What is it that I hope to do more of in the future? And starting to kind of curate those experiences. Honestly, it's the exact same process that we do each day with resumes and cover letters, making sure you're really being specific about what it is you want, what do you want to get across. And we really love talking about that sort of stuff, so we can absolutely help out with that.
I think what's just overall so helpful in this time of uncertainty is just talk to people. Just share what you're working on and what you're hoping to achieve and what you're worried about. But Career Services is here to talk about your goals and your big dreams for yourself, and how do we pave a path towards getting there? What are those incremental steps? And definitely it can all start while you were a student. And I totally agree. My work study positions that I took on as an undergrad, before graduating college, I had tons of administrative experience, tons of gallery experience, started networking with folks in the community, asking for informational interviews. I want to be in the arts, curating, or a registrar based on my experiences. And I got my first curating position running a ceramics gallery February before I graduated college. So just keep putting yourself out there.
Thanks. We had another question. Looks like it's been answered in the chat, but maybe if someone wants to just talk about it briefly. What is PR?
Sure, yeah. So we do a marketing and PR workshop pretty much every semester, just talking about what does it mean to be an artist or creative. We know that you need an audience, someone to buy your work, someone to collaborate with, someone to come to your shows. And so we talk a lot about how to talk about your skills and the things that you do without feeling like you're constantly selling to people, or, you know, bothering your mom and dad who are your only followers on Twitter. Especially when you're starting out, there is a lot of pressure for people to be like, I don't like my website, or I don't like my social media presence, so I'm going to keep it private, or I'm not going to start. We are basically broken records at Facts. We say like done is better than perfect, and now is the time to make mistakes, or like try a giveaway on your social media, reach out to reporters, start to build some contacts in the city that you hope to work at. Specifically PR related, we think of like traditional media, so like radio, television. Maybe if you have an event coming up, you want to reach out to reporters or get on some community calendars so that people hear about your event. And certainly social media marketing is definitely popular these days. I know it's like wild on TikTok. Every like few scrolls is like, I'm an artist, this is my art. You know, people are getting really creative, so it's always going to be changing and growing.
Thank you. Okay, last question. We'll close it out. James has a great question. Any advice for introverted people?
Yes. Are both children introverts? I don't know. I definitely am an introvert. I always was so afraid of like networking types of events. I never knew what to say. I definitely didn't feel like myself, or I was putting my best foot forward. And I think the great thing is right now, certainly everything is virtual, but I got really comfortable just sending emails and going, there's no shame in my game. I'm curious about you. I'd love to grab coffee. Would love to set up a Zoom. And what I learned is that people are always going to talk about themselves and be comfortable with that. And people are so much more likely to help you out while you're a student than after graduation, when they might start to see you as more competition. So now is the time to ask for advice. Even if I was sending someone like my resume or asking for internship information, starting out with, do you have any advice for me? I'd love to hear what worked for you, is a really natural and easy way to really build a relationship. And I do think that is important to keep in mind over time. A lot of this stuff isn't transactional. It's over time you want to get to know professionals doing cool things so you can continue working with them so they can continue supporting you over time. Introverts, it's totally doable.
I think most creatives, we are introverted. We go inside and we have our own creative spaces, but do note college is one step closer to being closer to people that are like you, that are going to accept you. And so much of what networking is building your tribe of people. And maybe you haven't had your creative tribe, but this is you getting one step closer to meeting those folks who are going to be supportive of what you do and help you open up. But it's like any muscle. When you're meeting new people, you got to just keep flexing it, keep practicing it, and it's going to get stronger and stronger, and you're going to get more and more comfortable with meeting new people. But especially as your student, know that people are receptive to wanting to help UT students. I'll tell you a lot. Start your emails with, I'm a student at the University of Texas and I love what you do. How could I get involved? It opens so many doors because both those things say, there's an opportunity for us to work together collaboratively and get something both out of this.
Yeah, I did forget to add too that you're going to be really busy. I think I mentioned that before. It's worth saying again. You have a lot on your plate when you're in college, and learning how to balance schoolwork, especially if it is virtual, not, dealing with Zoom fatigue. But this doesn't have to happen all at once. In fact, it can't. It's going to happen over time. You probably have 4, maybe 5 years for some of you while you're in college to meet people, to do different classes, to have different experiences. So please also don't feel a ton of pressure to do everything when you start college, whether that's at UT or elsewhere. It's going to happen over time. So take some of that weight off your shoulders.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for submitting questions. Thanks to all the panelists and the hosts for helping answer. I'm going to hand it over to David now. He's going to give a short little presentation about some of our recent alumni, so you can get a taste of kind of what our alums go on to do post-graduation.
Awesome. Thanks, Natasha. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, everybody. Y'all can see that pretty good. Just always got to make sure in Zoom. Cool. So everybody, I'm David Rizai. I'm actually the admissions coordinator for the School of Design and Creative Technologies. So I may have chatted with y'all earlier this week. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of wrap up today's session, just giving a couple alumni outcome numbers, as well as a couple spotlights of some of our recent alumni in the College of Fine Arts and kind of things that they've gotten involved in while in college, but also afterwards. Here we go. Cool. And as just an introduction a little bit too, on top of the College of Fine Arts Career Services Center, there's a lot of aspects of the College of Fine Arts and at UT that you can really take advantage of that can really help set you up for your career future. So in general, we have about a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So kind of like Caitlin said earlier, like a lot of our faculty are working for artists and professionals. So that kind of more intimate community, you can really network with them, really work with them on opportunities that can really help you find internships, find jobs afterwards, or just find creative projects to get involved in while at UT. We also have the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship, which is a really great opportunity for students. They put on a lot of awesome programs and events that you can get involved in. They have weekly ideas labs. So I know if you're wanting to collaborate with other creative students and trying to get your ideas off the floor, you can go to those weekly labs and kind of network with those students, as well as they had a really cool 3-day startup event they did last fall where like students got to put together in groups and create a kind of a startup in 3 days, which is a really great opportunity and a really great way to kind of just kickstart your entrepreneurial skills, especially as an artist. We also have the Kendra Scott's Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute. So if any of you are familiar with Kendra Scott, a big fashion designer in the Texas area, but also nationally, really. She's kind of started and created this new leadership institute, particularly for women and getting into the entrepreneurial world. So there's a lot of opportunities for classes on entrepreneurship for female identifying students. Also just opportunities for networking and programs to connect with students. And they bring in a lot of entrepreneurs and people in the industry to talk with students. So definitely take advantage of that while you're here. And then also just another shout out plug to Michaela on the call, who works in the School of Design and Creative Technology. technologies, particularly with communications, but also industry relations. So if you're interested in design or arts, entertainment technologies or creative technologies, you can also use Patty and Michaela, who's a great industry relations connections. They bring industry professionals into SDCT, giving virtual talks, also in-person talks, and they can also meet with you one-on-one to talk with about internship opportunities and look at your portfolio, which is awesome. Some highlights as far as stats when it comes to our alumni is about, according to a survey we did back in 2019, 92% of our alumni rate their experience as good or excellent. So that's awesome. Alumni are happy with their experience at UT. And also 97% of them are employed within 6 months, which is really exciting. They're employed, as well as 80% are really happy with the jobs that they have. So that's always good. It's good to be employed, but it's also good to be happy with the career that you're doing. And then 73% of them make or perform art. So as a lot of people said on the call, you might be a full-time artist, but you also might have side gigs or another day job, right, that you're doing while you're kind of working on your creative art opportunities. So definitely we see a big majority of our students still making or performing art in some way. Just a couple quick highlights as far as some recent grads from our different areas in fine arts. Sarah Milligan was a Bachelor of Music Jazz major in 2019. And actually founded and was the artistic director for Jazz Girls Texas, which is a nonprofit they created here in Austin to really provide a lot of opportunities for women in the music industry. One really cool thing is that Sarah, as well as another fellow student, applied for the Rainwater Innovation Grant, which is the grant that BSOM or Butler School of Music students can apply to fund their projects related to music and the arts. So I think it was a really awesome opportunity for them to get funding for their initiative. And they're from Arizona. And then for the art folks on the call for the Department of Art and Art History, we did have Stephanie, who was a BA in Art History grad in 2017. One really cool thing about Stephanie, I think, is that while they were at UT, they also were a student ambassador with us for the College of Fine Arts. So if y'all were in our session on Monday, you saw some of our student ambassadors who give tours and virtual sessions for our students. And they also interned at the Harry Ransom Center, which is a really great research space on campus to really do research, really awesome collections you can find there. But from their experience at UT, they also went back to their hometown in El Paso, and now they serve as the education and curatorial associate at the museum there. So I just think that's really cool that they actually got to go back and work in their hometown, particularly at the museum there, given their passions. And then in theater and dance, we have Cosme Flores, who was a BFA acting 2018 graduate. They're from the Valley originally in Donna, Texas, but they actually were cast in the Nickelodeon series Power Rangers, Beast Morphers, in their senior year. And they actually moved to New Zealand the summer after graduating to work on that production. So I think that's just a super awesome example of how, especially within theater and dance, and particularly for acting, you can really get involved and also get a job even before you graduate. So that's really awesome. And then one of our recent design graduates, Adrian Burrell, is a BFA design student. They just recently launched their big creative project, the Black Yearbook, which is a really amazing project. I really recommend y'all take a look at it. Basically, he created this visual yearbook of the Black, kind of highlighting the Black experience on campus. And so he's actually just launched that. It's shipping out this September, and he's already gotten a lot of big notoriety as far as like the New York Times and the Atlantic and Huffington Post kind of writing about this particular project. And even while they were a student, they actually funded one of their early exhibitions with one of the College of Fine Arts Fine Art Diversity Council student grants to fund their 1.7 exhibition while they were a student. And they're originally from Waco. But please definitely check out that project. It's a really awesome thing. They have a website and it's really cool to see the work that they created. If y'all have any questions about any of our majors or how to apply or any of the information that you learned this week, definitely reach out to the department coordinators for admissions. They're all listed up here on the screen. Take a screenshot if you want. It's also available on our website, but we're here to help in any way. So definitely shoot us an email with any future questions.